St Armands Circle is one of the premier go-to places here in Sarasota. So for folks who either live here full-time, they live here part-time, or they visit on occasion, everybody loves to check out St Armands Circle. It has some beautiful shops. It's got some delicious, wonderful restaurants of all varieties. And then it's all surrounded by beautiful, gorgeous homes. And it just has a vibe all of its own. The St. Armands Circle Association has a tagline that says, "Get out of the box and into the circle." And St. Armands is definitely outside of the box. It's very unique. And people love the idea of living there because of the circle there, because of all those shops and restaurants, and then also the accessibility to Lido Beach, and then also downtown Sarasota right over the bridge. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you a little bit more about St. Armands if you're not so familiar with it. And then of course, we're gonna talk about the real estate and the homes that are there and what's available. And then as always, I like to hit the pros and cons because whether it's St. Armands or some other area, I want you to kind of get a full picture of what the area is about, the good and the bad. Hi, I'm Jill Thomas, and each week I bring new videos and fresh content about moving to the Sunshine State, what it's like here in Sarasota, and then all things real estate. So if making a move has been on your radar, then this is the channel for you. Be sure to tap that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and keep on watching. And then as you continue to watch my videos, and I'm sure videos from other agents as well, and you're ready to take it to the next level, then give me a call, text, or email me. I'm so happy to answer all of your questions and help you sort those things through. And some people like to talk on the phone, other people prefer just to move forward via email, and then a lot of you do like to do a Zoom call, and I'm happy to do whatever you would like to do, whatever's your comfort level. And then in the end, if the Sarasota area is not the fit for you, then that's okay. I'm not a high pressure agent. And then in fact, if there's other cities that you are interested in, I can connect you with an excellent agent in those areas. So like I said, don't be shy, give me a call. St. Armands Circle, or St. Armands Key, is just over the Ringling Bridge from downtown Sarasota. And then it's adjacent to Lido Key, which is home to Lido Beach. So the fact that it's nestled between these two areas is what really provides so much value to the circle and the desirability that people have to live there. Now, I just made episode 62, the last video I did, was all about Lido Key. And really the two videos kind of go hand in hand a little bit. So if you haven't watched that video yet, be sure to check it out. Number one, what the circle has to offer. Now, as I've already mentioned, there's a lot of shops and restaurants there in the center of St. Armands Circle. In fact, there's about 130 of them. They are primarily restaurants, shops, boutiques, a lot of ice cream shops too. And what kind of makes it a little bit more unique is that they're primarily not well-known chain restaurants. You're not gonna find an Olive Garden or a Chick-fil-A out there. There is a Starbucks, that's probably the most popular one in terms of a chain restaurant, but otherwise you're not gonna see those other common shops or restaurants. Now, some of the restaurants do have multiple locations, whether it's locally, regionally, or even throughout the country or the world. But there's only a handful of these restaurants out there. So like Columbia or Tommy Bahamas, places like that. It's not gonna be the type of restaurants that you're gonna see over and over again from city after city after city. So that's why people really like it, is just because of that uniqueness. And then there are a handful of professional places. There are several salons or places maybe you can go to get, a mani-pedi or something like that. And then of course there's a lot of real estate offices out there too. I used to be with one of those brokerages out there, so I worked out there for a really long time. And what's also nice about the restaurants is there are a lot of outdoor seating options. So we were ready to roll even during COVID when they were trying to limit indoor activities. There was already tables and chairs, everything was already set up like that. So a lot of those places did a little bit better than others because they were just ready to roll. That was already part of their game plan out there. Now, right in the absolute center of the circle is a grassy park area, and it is called Circle Park. And there they have what's called the Circus Ring Hall of Fame. And because the ringlings were intricate in the evolution of the area here being developed, so they named a lot of these things out there. So it's a self-walking tour, it's a self-tour of the history of the circle. So that's really a pretty fascinating story. So take a look that up, or maybe if I remember, I'll put a link in the description below for you so you can research that. But otherwise, it's a pretty fascinating history with the circle there. And then they use that space also, and the streets, they'll block off some of the streets to have art shows, craft shows, concerts, events. They do car shows, things all throughout the year. At Halloween, it's a big area to go for trick-or-treating and actually go from shop to shop, not even just from house to house to go trick-or-treating. You've got people of all ages that come out and dress up to do that, and sometimes they'll have different events and things out there, and special demonstrations, or I don't know, performances, that's what the word I'm looking for, when they're out there during Halloween. And then same thing at Christmas time. They do such a beautiful job with a gorgeous tree. They'll do a tree lighting ceremony, and the lights and the decorations out there are just fabulous. So it's a lot of fun. And then even this summer in 2021, they're doing something called Soul of the Circle, and soul is spelled S-O-L, like the sun, right? So this summer they're gonna have some live musical events outdoors. They're gonna do some outdoor yoga. There's family days where they're gonna have special games and activities that are very family friendly. And as I mentioned, I worked out there on the circle for a long time. And so I've seen over the years, all the different really fun activities that they keep adding or tweaking just to keep everything fresh. So it's really, really fun with all these activities. So if you're living there, it's awesome because you have easy access to get to everything all the time. Number 2, living on the circle. All right, let's talk about the homes and condos out there. First, the condominiums. There is actually technically only one condo building on St Armands Circle, and it's called Kingston Arms. Now there's other condos out there, but they're on Lido Key, and sometimes people can't really tell the difference when they're going from St Armands to Lido Key. But so on St Armands, there's only the one building, Kingston Arms. And I think it's very adorable and charming and kind of quaint. Now, I think there's maybe just 40 or 50 units in the building. It's not very big. It's just a 2-story building, and it's located directly behind some of the commercial properties. And then it's on the side of the circle where it's closer to Lido Beach, and it's maybe 2 blocks away. So the location is phenomenal. The views aren't anything spectacular. You're either looking to the inside of the kind of the courtyard area of these condos, or you're looking out at the road, one of the 2 roads, because it's on a corner. But so it's nothing dynamic in terms of what the building's like or the size or anything, but like I said, it's a really great location. Now, most of the units are just 1 or 2 bedroom. The 1 bedrooms are around 800 square feet, and they sell in the low 300s. And the 2 bedrooms are between like 1,000 and 1,100 square feet, and they sell in the low 400s. And like I mentioned already, what makes it ideal is just the location. It's a great place to be. The units are smaller, but they're not so teeny tiny like some of the other ones on Lido Key that are a bit more affordable. Now, the homes on St Armands, let's talk about those. There's about 200 homes there, and as already mentioned, that in the very, very center of the circle is the park, Circle Park, the little grassy area, and then just outside of that are the commercial properties, all the restaurants and shops and everything. And then out from there, there's several like kind of concentric circles where then it's all residential, and then also out from the center of the circle, there's streets that come out almost like spokes. So really, when you look at an aerial picture, it's sort of like a spider web, kind of sort of, just so you can envision what that looks like. Now, the outside circle of all those streets is called Washington Drive. And as I mentioned in the video about Lido Key, all the streets out there are named after presidents. So the outside one is Washington. Now, if you're on the very outside of that circle, that's where you're gonna have a property, a home with a water view. Otherwise, all the other homes are garden homes. And when I say water view, it kind of varies. It depends on where you're at on the circle. You could be on the open bay. You could be on like maybe Pansy Bayou, Or you could be on a canal and you're just looking across the canal to the homes there on Lido Key, where the two keys are separated. So there are some waterfront homes, but otherwise most of the homes are just garden homes where they back up to another house. Now, as of late, the homes have been running between $1 million and $11 million in the last few months. And of course, the $11 million house is a little bit more at the extreme end. Those aren't as common. That's a larger house on a larger lot. So if I remove that home as an outliner, then the average sale for a house on St Armands Circle is $2.5 million. So a couple of reasons why the prices are so high there is just because of the limited inventory overall, with only 200 homes. And then in addition to that, just that desirability to live there with everything that's just so awesome right there on the Key, and then Lido Beach, and then also downtown Sarasota. People just love that idea of living there, and so they're willing to pay a higher price to be there. Number 3, pros and cons. Of course, there are so many wonderful things that we could go on and on about if you're gonna live there on St Armands Circle or just for the sake of visiting. And as I've already said about 30 times, just all the great accessibility of the shops, the restaurants, downtown Sarasota, Lido Beach. It's truly a lifestyle, and it's so unique, and that's why people want to be there. It's a very special area. And then also the homes there are so charming. We've got homes from the 1920s still on the circle that were built by the Ringlings 100 years ago for their family and friends. And a lot of them have historical designations. And then we've got brand new homes, modern or sometimes uber modern, but then also just a more modern style home, and then everything in between. And so it's sort of a cool feel with all of that. I love the variety. I do love the older homes. I think that they're so charming, and I just really, really like those homes. But then the mature landscaping, just everything about it, it has a beautiful, wonderful feel. And then something that brings people brings them a level of comfort is knowing that there's a fire station out there. And then also Sarasota Memorial has a quick care center, or like a walk-in clinic right there as well for emergencies. And then right over the Ringling Bridge, just past downtown, is Sarasota Memorial Hospital, the full hospital. So you've got that very close by for those emergencies. Now, as we know, even though this area is paradise, not all that glitters is gold. So let's talk about the downsides of living there on the Circle. Number 1, the bridges. Now, this is just a practical thing to talk about. It's not the end of the world, but you have to cross over a bridge to leave the Circle. And in spite of having shops and restaurants right there, you can't really buy practical things right there. You can get a nice scoop of ice cream, you can grab a cup of coffee, if you need some clothes, you can get all of that right there. But if you need, a pack of paper plates or a case of water so you can have some bottles of water to take to the beach with you, you can't buy that on the Circle. So you either have to go over that Ringling Bridge to downtown and pick it up, or go over the bridge out to Longboat Key and grab those things. There's no Publix or CVS or anything like that right there on the Circle. And then of course, those bridges can get backed up during season, during our busy time. So when you live down here, you just learn the traffic patterns, when's the best time to come and go, and when it gets more congested. And when I worked there on the Circle, I knew when was the best times for me to leave the office or to hang out a little bit longer and get some things done. Otherwise, it's a beautiful place to sit. If you're gonna be stuck in traffic, being stuck on the Ringling Bridge is not a horrible thing. It's better than I-75 or being up north in the snow, but it's just the reality of it. You're gonna sit there for a bit. Now, another thing to keep in mind are those flood zones, because you're right there on the water. This is a key. You're gonna be in a flood zone. So if you're getting a mortgage, you are gonna be required to pay flood insurance. And that's gonna be a little bit harder thing for me to rattle off numbers for that. It's gonna vary from property to property. So I can't really even give you a range on what the flood insurance cost would be. And then something else to keep in mind too, as I mentioned in the video about Lido Key, so if this is something that's of interest to you, go back and watch that video as well just to hear this point. But if you're in a flood zone, FEMA says, it's not Sarasota County, it's FEMA, says that you can only improve a property up to 50% of the assessed value of the structure. So when we get our county assessments for our property taxes, it's got this total number, but then it's broken down between land value and the structure. So you've got to grab that number from the structure, and I have easy access to that. If you need that for any property, I can send that to you. But anyhow, so let's say the assessed value is $100,000. You can only do $50,000 worth of work at one time. And then once that's completed, the property can get reassessed, and then you do the next phase. So you just can't say, I'm just gonna go in there all at once and just knock this stuff out. There's a game you gotta play, and any good general contractors in our area will know that, and they can help along with you figure out how to phase it out to maximize the whole situation. You definitely have some extra steps you have to take. So it's the 50% rule, so keep that in mind. And then property taxes. Of course, when you're gonna be paying, several $1,000,000 or more for a property, your property taxes are gonna be a lot higher. So when I just did my quick study in the area, they were ranging anywhere from $10,000 to $70,000 for the year. And the lower numbers were definitely from people who've owned the property for a while and had the homestead exemption, because that keeps the tax numbers going up super high year over year. It keeps a cap on it. So plan on paying, a decent amount of money for those property taxes to own a home out there. Okay, bonus tip time. Something I did not mention in the Lido Key video, so this is an important thing to know, is St Armands and Lido Key are in the city limits of Sarasota. And their rules are, if you have a single family home, you can rent out the home 1 week at a time. So there's 1 week minimum rental restriction. Now, if you live in an area in the city limits where there's an association like Bird Key, that could be different. And so right now in St Armands and Lido Key, you can rent out your properties 1 week at a time. But what's happening there is a lot of the residents don't like that. They just want it to be a little bit more settled and established instead of some of the homes being used like a hotel. So if you are looking for a luxury investment property to use as a rental, these areas would really be a great option. But if the residents who are there right now continue to fight it and that changes, that could change for you in the future if you're looking to do like an Airbnb or a VRBO. And then even if it doesn't change, I don't know how well some of your neighbors are gonna like you. So I just wanna mention that for you to keep in mind, because that could become an issue in the future. So what do you think of St. Armands? Do you like it? Do you not like it? How many of you guys been there before? And so share that in the comments below, because I think it's really good for other people who are watching the video to hear from other folks who have been here themselves and to get their 2 cents on the area. All right, here we go. YouTube question of the week. This is from Akasha921. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And Akasha's asking, how bad is the bug situation? I'm glad you covered that, but do the palmettos fly around hitting you, the palmetto bugs, or is it just 1 or 2 that get into the house? Well, thankfully, no, we don't have too much of an issue with palmetto bugs, or kind of like cockroaches, flying around, getting in your face or anything like that. I've never had an issue with that in 30 years of being here. You can get them in your house on occasion. That does happen, and it's just part of living here in a tropical climate. But the one thing that we do get are love bugs, and they come out once or twice a year, and they almost look like little lightning bugs they're attached to each other. That's why they call them love bugs. So those do fly around. They can swarm. You drive your car through them and they cover the front of your car. It gets kind of gross that way. Or if you're walking around and all of a sudden there's a swarm, you walk through them. So that feels a little creepy, but it's not like a regular thing. It just happens on occasion and you push through it. So yeah, we do have love bugs, and those can be a little gross. Okay guys, don't be shy. If you have been thinking about moving to the Sarasota, Bradenton area, Lakewood Ranch, Venice, somewhere down here on the west coast of Florida, give me a call. I'm happy to answer your questions and talk to you. And as I always say, even if in the end this area is not a good fit for you, that's okay too. I'm happy to try to connect you with another great agent in another city or state that'll be a help to you. Thanks again. I want to thank all of you for watching my videos, subscribing to my channel, and giving me calls. I love Zooming with you guys and getting to know you better. All right, have a great day. Thanks again.